What is going on, guys? We're coming to the end of November, which means DICE is beginning to start up its advertisement for our next map coming in our Chapter 5 Pacific update. We have some new insights on Wake Island to talk about today. Lars Gustafsson, one of DICE's senior producers, did an interview today on the EA Battlefield website, shedding some information on how the new Wake Island map will be like. In this article, we're getting some of the first few images of the map since that brief clip we had at the end of the Pacific Theater launch trailer where we saw a brief image of Wake Island. We have this first image here of a bridge with the tropical palm-like landscape. Nothing too surprising here, but always visually stunning when EA DICE brings something out. When Lars was asked of some of the improvements that have been to the recent iteration of Wake Island, he of course made the obvious mention of the improved graphics. The word used in the article was crisper visuals. Of course, that is expected, but still should be noted because I do think it's pretty cool to see the progression of visual development, and I think the various versions of Wake Island do this the best. In this image, we get to see that very horseshoe-shaped style map that we've all come accustomed to with Wake Island over the years. I can't help but think how this is going to play in a Battlefield 5 setting, and I'm pretty excited to play with those amphibious tanks in the water where the horseshoe landscape surrounds. I feel like Pacific Storm still didn't have enough amphibious battles with these tanks, so the larger body of water was mostly on the side of that map. So with Wake Island having such a large mass of water at the very center of it makes me hopeful that we'll see some pretty interesting amphibious battles coming up ahead. Lars did go on and say the map is bigger and that they've increased the terrain size to create better pacing. He also said there are more places for infantry to hide, such as foliage and rock formation. So to me, this sounds a lot like some of the new features in Pacific Storm, at least when it comes to the foliage. Pacific Storm had that same dynamic where if you need to find cover, you could go into the jungle plant life environment, and for the most part stay pretty well hidden if needed. When it comes to rock formations, this might be just more of what we've seen on Pacific Storm, where there was some rock formations coming out of the ground to give you a little bit more cover. But we'll see if on Wake Island they choose to scale these rock formations up more, since really what stands out more on Pacific Storm is the foliage, and maybe these rock formations will help separate the landscapes between these two maps, since visually both these maps have very similar terrain styles. Here's a look at the second image given to us. We get more of a look at the water here, giving us more of a feel of the amphibious warfare that will be upon us. We see warships in the background as well, and get more of a look at the foliage and rock formations that we have already mentioned. To bring us back on land, Lars did mention fortifications, since that's one really unique thing we haven't seen on Wake Island before. It was mentioned since Wake Island is a linear map, you can use them smartly to stop opponents. So I would expect to see more things like tank stoppers that would help you stop tanks from pushing forward, and again, laying down more sandbags and such if you want to defend yourself against infantry. There are other new additions to Wake Island that we haven't seen before as well, like the new game mode Breakthrough. We're getting news out that Wake Island will have Breakthrough, Conquest, Conquest Assault, Squad Conquest, and TDM. We don't have a specific date as of yet, but the news is that it will be around close to the middle of December when this map launches. Personally, for me, I'm looking forward to playing some Conquest on Wake Island, since maps like Iwo Jima to me were really meant for Breakthrough, and I think Pacific Storm could have an argument for that as well. But it would definitely be nice to give Wake Island some time on Conquest and even check out how Breakthrough plays as well. Hopefully it does well on this map. If you guys want to check out the full article where Lars goes over some of the early sketches of Wake Island back for 1942 and how this came about, you can check out the article down in the pinned comments below. But that is it for you guys today. Again, I always appreciate you guys being here. I am Livin', and I'll catch you guys again later.